Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Scorpio energy. And like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row I'll refer to as high vibe Scorpio energy, and the bottom row a more worldly, shadowy Scorpio energy, because we all have our dualistic nature. Our more worldly, shadowy nature can be all these things of the world that get us kind of caught up in our head, and our fear and our insecurities and our more immature nature. And it's also us wanting to stay in our comfort zone. And high vibe energy can be when we have more hope and faith and belief in ourselves and in our dreams and in love, and willing to let love and intuition guide us. And it can be hard to make those decisions in our life because we might have to change some habits, some relationships, or jobs, things like that. And so some people could be struggling within themselves right now, but other people have moved on. Other people have decided not to move on in life differently. And the thing is, we're all ready to move forward in life differently when we're ready to do that. And we've had people move on ahead of us in life, more bold and brave and confident than we are. And sometimes we move on and other people in our life aren't ready to move forward in that way. The truth sets us free. There's some we have to grow or heal or mature or just expand our perception of ourselves and the world around us, kind of to live our life differently. And we can't make other people do that, and everybody's on their own journey, and they'll either choose to do that at their future point in time or they won't, just like we've done that in relationship with other people. So Scorpio energy can, oh, that's too many. Scorpio energy is emotional water sign energy, and it can talk about those deep emotional relationships that we have with people, but we can also have deep attachments to repeating old patterns. And so we like to stay in our comfort zone. Some people do want to be in deep, meaningful relationships. Some people don't. Some people have kind of explored and worked through their being a complex emotional human being, and other people don't want to do that. They'd rather kind of keep it buried beneath the surface and just maybe never deal with it. And we just need to see the truth about the different people we're dealing with. Do they want to be in deep, meaningful relationships or don't they? And we don't have to take it personally. It's just where people are at. So let's get out these last few cards here. Oh, okay, well, I didn't get an overarching reason for the reading for the top row, but if we complete kind of a lesson we were meant to learn in our life in the bottom row, the anxiety card can kind of be what propels us to go live our life differently. So the anxiety card is like an 8 or 9 of swords, which is Gemini energy, which does talk about our dualistic nature and our free will. Am I going to build my life on a foundation of hope and faith and belief in myself and in love? Or am I going to build a foundation more on my fear or my insecurity or my codependency or things of the world? And, well, let's go look at the bottom row. We have going on a journey. Life's all about going on these journeys in life to learn these lessons. And sometimes we go on a lot of journeys and it doesn't turn out the way we want. The storm warning can kind of be like a tower card, where something we went to go pursue that we were excited about, that we thought would be emotionally fulfilling and maybe was aligned with our truth at one point in time, as time goes by, it can become emotionally chaotic. The water and tarot can talk about the emotional realm. And then we can wonder, why isn't this working out the way I thought? I thought I was going to go pursue something, living my life a certain way, viewing myself a certain way, living my life a certain way, getting in certain jobs, friendships, and relationships, but they don't seem to turn out the way I want. And the Tower card, with the storm warning being like the Tower card, is trying to illuminate us to the truth. That, there comes a point in our life we have to pick a path. That's what Gemini energy is about. We have our dualistic nature. What is our truth? And we'll probably keep having some disruptions in our life. And it's for us to choose, am I going to stay in that job, friendship, relationship, the way I'm living my life, even though it seems unstable, might seem unjust, unfair, I might feel like I'm being manipulated in some way, people trying to tear me down. like my dreams aren't going to come into reality here. And we have the free will choice to hope other people can change or will change, or realize the only person we can change is ourselves. And sometimes we have to wish some other people peace, and I can't keep staying in an environment that seems unsafe, unstable, or where this card, the Journey card, kind of reminds me of the Eight of Cups and the Eight of Wands. Sometimes we get in mismatched relationships, where one person is kind of hopeful and believing and inspired to learn lessons in life and heal and grow and mature themselves over time. And we can get relationships with people who free willingly choose to live from their more worldly nature, which can be pride, ego, fear, insecurity, bossy, controlling, manipulative, immature, indulgent, or something. And we can always be hoping to change them, right? And then we have these two cards not showing themselves, and with sometimes it can be that we could get in relationships with people we didn't realize when we got into the relationship that we harness these energies differently. The Angel of Love and Appreciation. So the Appreciation card is kind of like a Nine of Pentacles card, Virgo energy. And some people love their more worldly nature. My long-term goal is to have a certain status, image, money, make it more about me, indulge myself in the world, and they're really kind of caught up in those things. Other people harness a more high vibrational Virgo energy, which would be that it's about a balance. Yes, I want these things of the world, but I also don't want to be manipulated by the world. And I want to enjoy things in life, but I don't want to become so reliant on those things that I might indulge in to make me happy or enjoy that they kind of get a stranglehold on me. So high vibe energy is knowing your worth and value and loving yourself, where I can enjoy things in the world from a place of love, but I don't let those things become so important in my life that it kind of tips me out of balance, where the journey I was going on now has become unstable, unsafe. Things in the world have gotten too important in my life, even if it is my being consumed with my status or my image or my need to want to be in a relationship or these things I like to indulge in the world. I've given them so much power, or people in my life so much power in my life, that it's kind of put me where I'm up in my head, and it really makes me question what my truth is. And we can all have people in our life, whether they're adult children, siblings, parents, friends, romantic interests, that we would really like them to move forward with us in life in a long-term relationship where we're encouraging and supportive of each other. But love, high vibe energy love, is supposed to be just and fair. You're supposed to treat other people the way you like to be treated. And sometimes some people like to live more from their mind than their heart. They could be someone who doesn't really want to do love because that's confusing, and they could feel that makes them emotionally vulnerable to someone. And so they like to keep their more independent of their ego nature. That's the one they reject, because we have free will. Again, we can align with our more hopeful, believing nature, or we can reject that. And sometimes we get in relationships with people and we don't realize that they have rejected being more independent from their own fears and insecurities. Like, I'm not going to work through those things to free myself from them. They're going to manipulate me. My fear, my insecurity, my defensiveness to being hurt, or I really am more about the world and ego and image, and that's what I'm focused on, and that's what's most important to me. And we can get in relationships with people and we don't realize that. We don't realize how important it is to them. And for some people, that's how they define their worth and value. Other people kind of can keep things in perspective. Yes, I want stability and security, and I'd like to enjoy some finer things in life. But to have those things at the expense of love, I mean, I want love too, and I want stability and security, and it's trying to find that balance. Who are the people in my life who harness these energies in a high vibe way, kind of like balance between their loving, intuitive nature and their more worldly nature, where we put in work and effort to have stability and security. It's not the defining factor of how we define our worth and value in the world. And we also put in work and effort to have loving, supportive, authentic, encouraging relationships in our life. And some people could be going through a situation with some people in their life because one person might be more comfortable making their life about the world is the primary factor in their life or their defensive nature, and someone else's primary factor can be love. And we could want to stay in it because we can have love for those people. But loving people want to be in relationships with other people who want to be in a relationship with them because of love. I don't want to be in a relationship and stay in a relationship because of my fear or my insecurity or my pride or my ego, or if I have to put up with people's immature, unstable ways of being. Everybody has to learn some lessons in life, and we can get ourselves in relationships with people who haven't learned some lessons that we've learned. They be quite immature, quite impulsive, controlling, not very stable and grounded within themselves. And we just need to see the truth of it, that some people have some growing up and maturing to do, and it can take years and decades to learn some lessons. If you look back at some of the lessons you've had to learn in your whole life, even if it was like, I'm going to quit being kind of like self-critical and belittling to myself, well, that can take years to kind of master that. And some people have a lot of problem mastering with the Tower and the Mind card. Some people have a lot of difficulty kind of not getting so caught up in their head by, we're not meant to be enslaved by our mind or our fears or overwhelmed by our emotions. We're supposed to learn to take inspired action. Again, with this card kind of being like Sagittarius and Pisces energy of the Eight of Wands and the Eight of Cups, it's about offering love to our own unstable worldly nature and offering ourselves love and encouragement. We have that free will choice to be a loving, nurturing, supportive person to ourselves, like being our own best mother, father, coach voice in our own head. But we have to even be inspired to even want to take action towards those things. Some people want to ignore those things and they just want to go indulge in something to make themselves feel better, which could be getting in a different relationship, just going and getting a different job, hanging out with different friends, going and indulging in some things of the world, not helpful coping mechanisms. And that is how some people are going to live their life. And we wish people peace. Everybody's got to learn lessons the hard way, just like some of the rest of us have done. So, if some people were in those situations and are, some of those people right now could be doing this work kind of behind the scenes. Not everyone knows they're doing it. That they're starting to do this work within themselves to love themselves and to appreciate themselves and what they bring to the table in workplaces and friendships and relationships, and appreciate their good qualities to temper some of their fears and insecurities of maybe detaching from living their life the way they've been living it and with some of the people that they've been surrounding themselves by. Because just like we have our dualistic nature, we have different people in the world we can hang out with. We can hang out with people who are loving and encouraging and supportive. Periodically, we've got to look at some of the people in our life. Do I kind of need to distance myself from this person? And then we have people in our life who want us to be up in our head, have us be more immature, have us be more indulgent, indulge in our more immature, egoic, selfish, prideful, whatever way of being, because that's how they live their life, and they want us to hang out with them, or date them, or marry them, And So some people could really be going through that right now about wondering, and it is high vibe energy, and high vibe Virgo is about being more independent, learning how to give yourself those things that you wish other people would have given you. Again, to know your worth and value, to fill your own cup emotionally, to be more independent. Let's go up to the top row. We have two cards not showing themselves, so the way I would interpret that is that as people go through this process and they're thinking of moving forward in life differently, again, doing some work behind the scenes that other people don't know about, because Virgo energy is about doing this inner work, shedding light on those things we maybe prefer to keep hidden in the dark and not look at. And they have to look at how they could have harnessed these energies in a more shadowy way, and then how some of the people in their life that they might have been hanging out with were harnessing them in a more shadowy way. And then when we reject harnessing those energies in a more shadowy way, we kind of distance ourselves from people who still do, because we're not viewing life that way. Again, Virgo energy is about dealing with the truth and seeing the truth. Do I love myself? Do I value myself? What about the people I'm surrounding myself with? Are they loving and encouraging me? Are they supportive of me? Do they want me to grow to my full potential? Do they like me being unstable, ungrounded, not knowing my worth and value? So let's go look at these two cards. The man holding coin and the envy card. So the way I read tarot, especially, well, it's just the way I read tarot. The masculine figures can represent how we present ourselves in the world, and it's considered masculine energy when we're taking action out in the world, when we're going out in the world. And we can all present ourselves any way we want. And the King of Pentacles would be that we present ourselves as a very stable, grounded, emotionally mature person, kind of victorious and successful to whatever degree of where we're at in our life. But anybody can present themselves like that, and they're actually in shadowy energy. But we can all present ourselves any way we want. But they can be immature, they can be very unstable, ungrounded, they could have a lot of fears and insecurities, haven't learned to do the work to be more independent of those things so that those things don't manipulate them anymore. And the King of Pentacles can represent jobs and family dynamics and relationships and marriages. There's people that we look to in our life that, again, jobs and relationships that we're wanting to be in a relationship with for stability and security in our life. But, the envy card can just be we kind of wanted what other people wanted. And sometimes we could have jumped into some things hoping everything would work out all right. But we maybe hadn't done some of this inner work within ourselves to love and believe in ourselves. And we have all been in more codependent energy. And we could have gotten in relationships with other people and we didn't really know, and sometimes a lot of things can be worked out in a relationship, and you can be in a job, friendships, and relationships for a really long time because there's all these different things to kind of compromise on and see if you're compatible on. And it can take a really long time to realize that at a core foundational level, because it might take you a long time in your life, the first many decades of your life, to really kind of love and believe in yourself, which I think is a really hard lesson to learn in life, and to appreciate what you do bring to the table. And learn these lessons in life, grow up and mature yourself, get out of living more from your mind than your heart, quit being more immature. It all takes few decades. Well, so then we can do that, and we could kind of realize that maybe we did get in some career fields, some relationships, and we're doing some things in our life maybe a little bit more out of our shadow nature, our fear, our insecurity, our pride, our ego, our lust, our greed. We want these things of the world. Well, pride comes before the fall, and we go take action, and we have these lessons to learn. And if we're willing to see the truth when it doesn't work out the way we want, are we willing to deal with the truth? Do I let these things of the world kind of consume me and manipulate me? which then I can get in relationships with people that are happy I live my life like that, because that's how they live their life or want me to live my life. But kind of realizing that I could feel, inside this castle is like darkness, and out there is the light, and the light in tarot would kind of be represented by high vibe Leo energy, that we want to be free of these things that manipulate us. We want to, and that's what high vibe energy is, to be free of the things that manipulate you. At the big picture, shadowy energy kind of represented by the devil, all these things that try to manipulate us, restrict us, confine us, imprison us, to not live our more authentic life and shine our light in the world. And when some people kind of do that work within themselves, that's when they're ready to kind of take off the mask. I'm going to quit making my life more about these things or the image or what other people think, and I just want to live my authentic life, to be free. And high vibe energy is coming from a place of love, offering love to the people in your life. I want to live my authentic life. I want you to live your authentic life. I want us all to kind of be free of these things that kind of got a stranglehold on us and got us up in our head. What about letting intuition and love guide us? The seventh chakra is about listening to your intuition and your higher self. And the woman holding heart, which this looks like a man kind of dressed up like a lady. We all have our masculine, feminine nature, and in our kind of masculine energy, we can be driven a lot by these things of the world. But our emotionally intuitive, creative, inspired, passionate nature is just as valuable. And it's really learning that lesson to learn to kind of stand up for ourselves and what we believe in, and taking action and responsibility for ourselves out of love. Queen of Hearts. And the Queen of Hearts I also view as Scorpio energy of wanting to be in deep, meaningful relationships. And we could realize that some people in our life weren't showing us that they really are much more about, maybe wanting to be in relationships because it's good for their ego or their image or their status. It makes them, male or female, look victorious and successful. But is it love? Are people coming out from behind the mask, their defensive nature, to be authentic in a relationship? Or are we going to keep staying, so that's where we could have some mismatch. One person isn't kind of caught up in that, is kind of more about wanting to do this work throughout their life of working through their baggage, to let go of some of their baggage and their past pain and heartbreak. It can just be a regular part of their life. And to keep freeing themselves and listening to their intuition and love to guide them. But they could get in a relationship with someone who tries to present themselves as being more high vibe, but they were hiding that, it'd be great to be in a relationship with a high vibe person, but sadly, sometimes the intent is either because I have a lot of fears and insecurities and I want to be in a relationship with a loving, nurturing person, I'm looking to them to be the answer to my problems, which for a long time, the relationship, and it's good maybe for their ego and their image and status and stability and security, but the problem eventually comes is it can work for a long time, but eventually the person who has hope and faith and belief and love isn't imprisoned by some of the things that imprison the other person. And as they keep kind of growing and healing and maturing themselves, and they keep kind of going with the flow of life and moving forward, the other person, it can be okay if you do that to a certain degree. They don't mind you being loving and nurturing, of course, and to a degree being independent. But when it challenges them to have to start dealing with the issues that manipulate them, and Virgo energy can be, if we don't want to deal with the truth, we reject the truth, we do not want to deal with it, because it does take investing time, energy, and effort. that's sometimes when someone will start to do things and you kind of see their shadowy nature come out, where they will try to stop you from like loving and believing in yourself, because they don't want you to keep, you've kind of grown to the maximum they want you to. Now you're stepping too far out of their comfort zone, and then they don't like that. And then they can do kind of shadowy things to get you up in your head, make you focus more on them, because they don't want you. In order, every relationship has to be balanced in some way, either equally out of balanced, or you're both on the same page of whatever learning experiences in life and how you view life. And if you're breaking free, which is what the Tower can be, of an old way of viewing life or being so much up in your head, and you've kind of are stepping into your own and getting more balance within yourself. Well, if you were in an equally out of balance relationship where like you are being a loving and encouraging person to someone who has like fears and insecurities, well, as you kind of want a more balanced relationship, it's like it was equally out of balance, but then you kind of come down more to center. I don't want to indulge people in poor behavior. I want them to do some of this inner work to get balanced so there's equal give and take in a deep, meaningful, loving relationship. Well, that's when the problem can occur. Because they would have to kind of look at some of those things that they would need to work through, and either they don't want to or they don't want to see the truth of it. Because if someone's in kind of shadowy energy, this card can be kind of immature and indulgent. This can be egotistical, kind of self-centered, more about them, and thinking a relationship should be kind of more about them, or it's more about the world and ego and image and stuff. And then they start to become worried because you're kind of stepping outside the box. And in order to keep moving forward with you in that way, they would have to work through whatever their blockages are about just maybe being more authentically themselves in the world and coming out from behind this philosophy of life that they have, and maybe just their more emotionally defensive nature. And for some people, that's when a relationship ended. For some people, a relationship is really having a hard time right now because of going through those things. And the people that are thinking of leaving, they don't want to leave. They would like it to work. And that's why I think the high vibe people offer love and encouragement to the people they're in relationship with. But again, how long have we been in friendships or relationships or at that job until we're willing to see the truth that things aren't going to change? If they were motivated and inspired to change, they probably would have by now, and that the only person I can change is me. And I'm going to let love and intuition guide me, because there's something about it that seems unjust and unfair, or even feeling shadowy energy can be where people are kind of in their competitive nature. And it can be even feeling like you're in relationships with people who are kind of competitive with you, like you're the opponent to defeat. And we don't like being in those types of relationships. So high vibe people have worked through some of these issues to get out of their more worldly nature and attachment to the things that would make them kind of want to stay in certain situations, to kind of live their more authentic life, and let love and intuition guide them. What's coming up for some people who harness some high vibe Scorpio energy that they might not see coming? The Page of Cups. Why? Because of the Ace of Swords. We get to a place where we wish them peace, but I can't stay here anymore. I can't stay in an environment with people who seem to free willingly make the choice. I don't choose truth, love, justice, fairness, character, and integrity. Growing up, healing, maturing. I'm going to have to, even though I want those things, I'm not going to stay in it for those reasons. And even though there's love there, I can't stay somewhere where it keeps not being just and fair or authentic or loving. And they wish him peace. Why? Because of the truth. They've seen the truth. Everyone else had their free will choice to choose love, to be just, to be fair, to act with character and integrity, and they keep not doing it. And we can stay in denial for a long time, but it'll probably get worse and worse. And sometimes we got to realize that if some people are acting like that, they might want us to leave. They might not want to be the one to leave, because if they're not a very authentic and loving person, the thing that they have to use in the world to get people to get in relationships with them is like their status and image. So they could want the other people to leave so that they can say, well, you're the one who left and you're the one who got a divorce or whatever, but it's more because they don't maybe want to work through these things that cause them, or maybe don't even want to see the truth of what their truth is. And maybe they are egotistical. Maybe they are immature. Maybe they do immature things in a relationship that aren't conducive to a healthy relationship, but they don't want to acknowledge the truth of that. Or maybe they're egotistical, or maybe they're more materialistic than they like to realize. So high vibe people get to a place, I wish you peace, and they do this work within themselves behind the scenes to get to that place. I wish you peace, and I'm going to, this isn't just, this isn't fair, and I'm going to take action in truth and love, and believe that if I take action in truth and love, that is the best course of action than making decisions more out of fear and insecurity or codependency or immaturity or whatever, And I think as you do that in your life, there's going to be other people that see that that's how you're living your life. They've also dealt with people who are like this. And there's going to be other people in the world who want to get to know you. The Page of Cups is just like friendly gestures of people. People who want to get to know people, become friends with them, to get to know if you're on the same page or not. And then I think as you're moving forward, you would offer that to other people. We need more healed people in the world. It's kind of like, love is always gracious and open to other people. If you work through your issues of whatever it is and you want to come talk to me one day, come talk to me. But in the meantime, I'm wishing you peace, but I'm kind of looking to the future and taking action in truth and love. What's coming up for some of the people who might not have some good coping skills? Well, just like the rest of us, they have some lessons to learn. And when we haven't been illuminated to the truth that it is about truth and love and justice and fairness and growing up and maturing yourself, we're going to keep repeating some old patterns. And some of the things they go pursue aren't going to work out the way they wanted. And until they're willing to look at why the pattern that they keep repeating doesn't work out, they're going to keep repeating it. We have the Nine of Swords and the Six of Cups. Why? Because of the Emperor. Well, I think if there's people in the world who keep trying to manipulate people and control people because they have a fear of being emotionally vulnerable and loving and more authentic in the world, they're going to have some other people who are going to leave their life. Because again, other people would like to be in a relationship with them, but they get stressed out in the anxiety card that the people, high vibe people that are in a relationship with people like this, they keep repeating this old pattern over and over, is what the Six of Cups, which is Scorpio energy, can talk about. Why? Because of the Emperor energy, which is Aries energy, which can be, people are more about themselves, because Aries energy is about the self. And if people are more about themselves, again, they could be immature, bossy, controlling, in their self-defensive nature, they're more about themselves, protecting themselves from being hurt at all costs, wanting to look like a boss in the world, and that could be the most important thing that drives them. And other people end up seeing the truth of it. And other people in high vibe Aries energy decide maybe from the 8 to the 9, I see the truth. And the truth is, I have been trying to be a good leader in this environment. I've been trying to be loving and encouraging and supportive, and other people keep repeating this old pattern. That's their free will. And I can't change them, but I can change me. And I have, even though it causes me some stress and anxiety, I don't want to keep repeating this old pattern. So I've decided to get out of my ego about it, to reveal the truth to myself. If I'm going to leave a job, a friendship, or distance myself from a relationship, I kind of have to reveal the truth about that. And I have to get over my worldly attachment and my deep emotional connections with people, because love and intuition is telling me it's time to wish some people peace in my life and move on. And some of the people that were maybe being hurtful or unkind or bossy or controlling or full of themselves could be shocked that some people are willing to become independent of them. And for some, it's like, well, I know you love me. You won't leave. Well, who likes to feel like somebody's emotionally manipulating you because they know you love them? And you want, maybe the King and Queen of Pentacles is the only married suit of the deck. Maybe you wanted to marry them. Maybe you did marry them. Yeah, you would like it to work, but it can only work if everybody's working together for the common goal. Being authentic, the pages would be that hopeful, believing nature in truth and love. And I don't think you're operating from truth and love. So even though I don't want to give this up, and I would have liked these things in my life, if it's not based on truth and love, I'm going to wish you peace, and you can go find someone else to be immature with, or bossy or controlling with, or try to tear down, or manipulate, or control. And if some of the shadowy people keep doing that, they might end up in a relationship with other people that have stress about being in deep, meaningful relationships. Maybe because they kind of like things their way or the highway also. You have to be willing to even want to work cooperatively with other people. And some people really don't. They do kind of like it their way. And anybody can view a relationship any way they want. I have this way of viewing life that I should be able to be bossy or immature or petty or immature or whatever. And I think people should maybe want to be in a relationship with me anyway, because maybe these people do have a certain status or image or attractive or whatever they got going on. And they think because maybe they look like a boss for some reason in the world, that even if people are stressed out, people should work with them anyway. Because that's kind of how they view life. And it's like, if they can find someone who's like, you know what, this would make me look like a boss too. I think this, instead of me dealing with my issues that cause me stress and anxiety about loving and believing in myself, yeah, I'll get in a relationship with you. But they might end up where then we have two people that are kind of about ego or image or kind of bossy and controlling. But because if they're both kind of more emotionally shallow and superficial, and that's how they both like to be, and they know other people they get in relationships want them to be more authentic, and that's not how they want to live in the world, well, then this might be a relationship that it's a match. It's just and fair. They're both kind of on the same page. And they might be worried that some of the high vibe people they know in their life might get in relationships with people who are more emotionally mature, because high vibe Aries would be someone who's learned all these different lessons in life, harnessing all four suits of the deck. And they're kind of more like maybe a knight. And they could try to present themselves as being much more, again, emotionally mature and stable and balanced than they are, but you came to see the truth that they're not. And it is kind of more of a illusion they present in the world. They might have money, they might have status, they might have power, they might be attractive, but they're not who they say they are. They're not authentically driven and motivated by love and being authentic in the world. It's kind of all a strategy to get people to work together with them in a relationship, for them to either be in a relationship or because it's good for their ego and image. So there you go, Scorpio energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.